What's up, dude? If you've ever walked into a supermarket to buy potatoes for mash and been really confused about which ones to buy, you are definitely not alone. Today, I'm gonna make mashed potatoes with 3 of America's most popular potatoes to see which one really is the best. Now let's go! Before we boil these potatoes up for the test, let me give you a quick rundown of what I understand about these 3 different kinds of potatoes. First off, the mighty russet potato, which is really high in starch and low in moisture, which basically just means this is a fluffy potato ideal for baking or frying, meaning when you cook this, it is going to start to fall apart. It won't hold its shape. On the other end of the spectrum is a red potato, which is high in moisture, low in starch, meaning it's gonna hold its shape once cooked. It's ideal for like potato salads and anything you want it to just hold its shape without falling apart in. And as a happy medium, you have the gold potatoes, which have characteristics of both sides of that spectrum. They're somewhere in the middle. Now, the only way to know which one's better for mash is to do a side-by-side test and just see. And we'll follow the exact same cooking process for all 3 different potatoes. If you've never made good mash, I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. Of course, we're gonna start by peeling them up. From here, I'm just gonna cut my potato into equal sized pieces. I like to go sort of big chunks, just like this. And then I highly recommend you rinse them out with fresh water a few times to remove any of that excess starch. And then definitely season the water so that can penetrate into the potato as it cooks. All you need to do now is let these roll until fork tender. Could take 15, 20, 25 minutes, depending on the potato and size. Little pot on medium heat here, and we're gonna warm up our dairy while our potatoes cook. Super simple, just some whole milk here, some heavy cream, and some good old-fashioned butter. And we don't need to boil this. All we need to do is make it hot, melt the butter, and then we can set it aside somewhere warm until we need it. After about 20 minutes, our russets are fork tender. I'm gonna dump them out into a strainer, and then I'll actually just let these sit and steam for 3 or 4 minutes so they can dry out a little bit more. Now, one secret to perfect mash I think all chefs agree on is a ricer. If you don't have one of these, it's a cheap and essential tool to have in your kitchen. I'll put a link for it in the description. But all it does is make the potatoes really fine, and all you need to do is put the potatoes in here, drop this thing down, and then simply just squeeze, and it pushes those potatoes through into that little rice-sized shape. We'll just repeat that whole process with all of our potatoes. All you gotta do now is pour over your hot dairy, and then I highly suggest you use a rubber spatula like this just to bring everything together. The ricer has already done all the work. At this point, we just need to gently mix them, just like so. And at this point too, you really don't wanna overwork them. Don't keep mixing them, they can get gummy. You just wanna bring it together until that texture looks right, and they're absolutely done at that point. You need to taste them for seasoning. If there was enough in the water, you might be good, but I usually add a little more, just like so. I'm only gonna mix them for about 30 seconds like that. Any more will only do them harm. And you wanna follow the exact same process for the other potatoes. Here's folding together the gold potatoes, and there's folding together the red potatoes. Okay, all our potatoes are done. Same amount of cream and salt. These are the russets, and as you can see, they actually look quite smooth. And here's the gold. These ones feel to me a little bit wetter, that's for sure, which would make sense because they do have more moisture. It does feel quite good, maybe just a little bit wetter. And here's our red potatoes, and let me tell you something. I worked for a chef many years ago who swore by making mash with red potatoes, and I didn't have that high hopes, but man, just looking at these, I don't know if you can tell this on camera, but they just look smoother than any of the rest. If you put that right next to the golds, you see a big difference in the texture. Now, before we taste these potatoes, let me introduce our sponsor, BetterHelp, who is on a mission to make starting therapy easier. Personally, in my own life, I started therapy 4 years ago after just feeling a need to share what was going on in my mind and in the past of my life. And my therapist truly has helped in giving me some new tools to manage my stress and organize my life, as well as helping me to develop healthier habits to improve my overall well-being. And it doesn't matter whether you're just navigating a rough patch or dealing with some serious mental health concerns like anxiety or depression, therapy can be tremendous support. With BetterHelp, you can choose between phone calls, video chats, or even messaging for your sessions. It's really whatever you feel comfortable with and what works best for you. Simply just fill out a questionnaire and they will match you with a therapist in as little as a couple days. They carefully make sure therapists on the platform are well qualified, and their customer support team is there to help you if you have any questions. And one of the best features of BetterHelp is if you feel like your therapist isn't the right fit, you can easily switch to another one until you find someone you really connect with. If you're struggling and think you'd benefit from a therapy session, you can click the link down in the description or go to betterhelp.com/ThatDudeCanCook to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the recipe. Okay, my friends, I'm gonna start with the taste test, and I'm gonna get Marcus in here, who's in the other room, and he's gonna do a blind taste test. Because obviously I've cooked them and I know. I'm starting with the russets. Honestly, all 3 look really good. And I will say, before trying these, whenever you're buying a potato, make sure you choose a really hard one. Because it's not just all about the different types of potatoes, it's about the quality of the potato itself. All 3 of these felt good, so here we go. Russ. russet. Double dip. Great flavor, great texture. Those are really good. If you got those mashed potatoes anywhere, you would remember them. They're good. They're good mash. Here we go, Yukon Gold. Let's see what the difference is here. I'm gonna try the russets again. Back to the gold. The gold for me tastes nice, but it doesn't have as good a texture as the russet. For some reason, those russets are just a lot smoother today. However, again, that could come down to the quality of the potato, but those are just smooth. Texture is awesome. Yukon Golds are very nice. It just doesn't have that texture. It feels a little bit grainy to me. I would put those in the #1 spot, these in #2 right now, but I've got a good feeling about these red potatoes. They look so smooth. They almost look like they've been pushed through a drum sieve, like a really, really fine sieve. What? This is so interesting because I have made mashed potatoes with red potatoes on this channel before, but it's not something anyone ever does. Because they're really waxy, they're used mostly for potato salads, but my God, I'll tell you what, that is without a doubt the king of the castle. It is better than each of those mashes and clearly better. And that's flavor-wise and texture-wise. Those are incredibly smooth. No lumps, texture is absolutely perfect, spot on. You know, going into this test, I thought Yukon Golds would win, russet potatoes would be second, and third would be the red potatoes, but actually it's turned out the opposite. Red potatoes #1, russets #2, Yukon's #3. I'm just calling it how I see it. You guys see this, right? Let me do a replay of how that red potato looks. Dude, that's the best mash. Holy smokes. Try it with red potatoes. Let's get Marcus. Okay, potato #1.
I never blindfold ate mashed potatoes, but if I'm really trying to think,
It's fine.
I feel like grittiness maybe. They're
Okay.
thick, but maybe.
Thought those were gritty. Try it, potato #2. Let me know if you want to try #1 again, because I had to go back and forth personally.
Okay, well let me try #1 again. I know what you're saying when you were like surprised that I said gritty. These are smooth. The other one had like bigger chunks in it.
What, the second one?
The second one had bigger chunks.
This is smoother, right? The first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's smoother.
Okay, try #2 one more time, just so you fully understand.
This is a weird way to eat potatoes. No, it was a little chunkier. There was like pieces in it.
Okay, you ready for #3? Here you go.
I need more of that. I don't know what one. I feel like I like that one the best. The last one I just tried was the best. The first one I tried was in second place.
So 1, 2, 3. I got it. Okay, go ahead. You can remove your blindfold.
Which one did I eat first? That one?
No, you ate this one first. You ate 1, 2, 3. Russet, gold, red.
Oh, I liked red the best.
Yeah, so did I. Red was clearly the best. I mean, for me, like the texture was just miles above the other ones. Texturally, that's not supposed to happen. People say you can't make good mash with red, but that's the best one. Clearly, we both decided it.
Yeah.
#2 was russet, same for me, and 3 with the gold.
Before we started this, he said gold would be #1. It was #3.
That's what I thought. I told them too. Yeah, it's a big twist. The red, I'm telling you guys, the texture is just unbelievable. Like, and I don't know, that could have something to do with the potato itself. Maybe it's just like the red potatoes are local, and you know what I mean? I don't know. They're just full of life and really good.
I don't even know how to explain it.
There's a density to this that you don't get with these. Make it with red potatoes. Get back to us in the comments. I want to see what you guys think. Peace. Thanks for watching today, my friend. And if you are a fan of written recipes, definitely check out my Master in the Making ebook linked in the description with 55 of my favorite recipes. And if you want to keep learning today, I can definitely suggest you make this gravy to go with the mash. On another note, if you were to do boeuf bourguignon with the mash, that would be absolutely insane. Until next time, you know I love you and I'm out.